It is the break of Mary Talbot to kick us off in this one. Wins so far this evening for Amy Beecham and Vicky Lomax. And that is quite the tag team duo if ever there was one. And Amy Beecham joins me on comms for this one too. Thankfully, out of that duo, it's you and not Lomax on the comms. But I bet I'd be wary of who you were going to upset if it was the former. But great to have you with us, champs. And a good match in prospect here. We were both talking, I think, last year on one of the end of season events about sort of excited's probably the wrong word to use for you, but I'll use it for me. But how much we're sort of intrigued as to how Mary's going to go this year in particular, after she's had sort of a year of figuring it out a little bit.
Yeah.
But so much ability. It's just about learning the actual game, and I think we both feel there might be a trophy in her future this season.
Yeah, absolutely. She obviously has the ability, snooker background, and she puts the work in. She's dedicated, and she's got good people around her down at Spots and Stripes. Michael Hope. Obviously, I think she practices quite a lot, but people like Joe Prince, Joe Nolte play out of that club. So there's certainly from that area. So she's got good people around her, and she studies the game. She's enjoying learning.
Yeah, and I get that sense whenever I speak to her, because she seems to just been almost, I mean, maybe you can speak to this, I don't know, it probably would have happened when you were a lot younger compared to Mary now, but she seems to have been properly bitten by the bug.
Yeah.
Like, she just seems to almost, we were talking earlier with young Charlie Earnshaw, 17, and was just saying he's probably never off the table.
Yeah.
But she seems to have that real enthusiasm for it that I think a lot of people had when they were that sort of age.
Yeah, I think she's just someone, I think, in general that enjoys learning. She enjoys the game, obviously, has always played snooker, has moved over to commit to pool full time because she could see the potential future in the game. And yeah, she does just love it, and so I think she just loves improving.
Yeah, and I think that in its own way, I was chatting to Vicky in the arena there just a moment ago about where the women's game has come in the last sort of 5-6 years.
Yeah.
And that in its own way is almost like a bit of a seal of approval, really, isn't it, as to how the game's progressing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, even Lomax is starting to practice regularly, so
Exactly.
That's where we're going.
That was what inspired the question.
Yeah.
As we see Mary run a grounds. And an opportunity then for Lauren Proctor. First ever TV match for Lauren, which is sure to be a little bit daunting, but she'll be delighted to come to the table with this as her first offering. This is just about, if you could choose it, the perfect way to start.
Yeah. What I would say is the table was playing very, very quick, so you don't want to have to move the white around too much here. It'll easily catch you out.
That's a good example of it right there. I'm assuming that yellow she's close to goes. No, it doesn't, so it is just a safety. I'd love the yellow to have come up ahead of that cue ball.
Yeah, she's left this very, very awkward though.
I wonder if Mary's going to go full-blooded.
I think you have to. Yeah, that's a great shot.
If you wanted anyone on this tour to make that pot, she'd be near the top of your list, wouldn't she?
Yeah, she'd be up there, yeah.
Touch the sides, that was clean from Mary Talbot. This, to be fair, is not far off being as tricky, I don't think, if it's as tight as I think it is. Yeah, not a huge amount of room here. Yeah, that felt missable.
Yeah.
Lauren's going to get 2 goes at it. I mean, you saw this in your match champs. There's a huge amount of reputation sometimes in the women's game.
Yeah.
And obviously, you come with your own and all the rest of it. But reputation, it does only count for so much. But especially in races to 4.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you can find it. If you don't start well, all of a sudden anyone can really come at you and make it very, very difficult very quickly.
Yeah, and I think, not that I'm particularly happy about it personally, but what's a good sign for the women's game is I think reputation now counts less than it ever has done since I've played the game. I think over the last few years, there's been a sort of level of new players that believe they can come in and win and beat anyone, and for a long time you didn't really have that. It was always the same people would win the matches they were meant to win, because you just got away with so much, but you don't get that as much anymore, which for me is very annoying, but in general it's a good thing, obviously.
Well, that was exactly what Lomax was saying in her interview there at the end. That's a nice shot from there. She's going to get this first frame on the board as Lauren broke down. But yeah, it was something that Vicky was really speaking to, is that, she sort of said, 5-6 years ago, I could sort of getting away with turning up to tournaments and just sort of winging it about and getting by on natural ability and all the rest of it, and I'd sort of do all right. Whereas I can't get away with that now, and that's where that growth has come.
Yeah.
Now, imagine a Vicky Lomax primed with loads of practice and match sharp and all the rest of it, and you're talking about a really serious player there, because she's got loads of ability.
Yeah. Absolutely, and if Lomax could bring her mentality that she has for one frame and for team pool, and how much she wants to win for a team into singles, that elevates her a level again.
Yeah, she had quite the reputation as part of that England team.
Yeah.
We saw it in the last woman standing. She, if it's that sort of thing, she just enjoys it to a slightly different level.
Big game player.
It's going to come up dry for Lauren. So first poke at these for Mary.
These reds look nice.
Yeah, first glimpse, and certainly the colour set. A couple of awkward yellows for sure.
If the 8 goes in the corner, then not much to do really. Fully expect her to get these.
Yeah, this is one of those layouts where you can almost see it's all sort of straight lines. As long as you keep yourself in line, you're in pretty good shape.
Just going back, I think, was just about to say before that shot, the only thing that could catch you out here would go back to the reactiveness of the table.
Yeah, just got a line wrong there, Mary.
Yeah.
This is what she can rely on more than most. A little bit of commentator's curse. How's your fluke? Wowee. That's a naughty one. That's the sort of thing that shouldn't happen to favourites versus underdogs, but here we are. She still has the problem to solve of the one at the top of the table, and there's not a really nice, obvious link ball.
No, but you don't need to get close to it. I mean, if you play the one next to the yellow, kind of near the blue spot on a snooker table would be, and kind of stun it in, or leave the cue ball where the red is, you would have a decent shot at it. I think she tried to go for it then, but tough now.
Yeah, this will tell us how much Mary's learned over the last year or so when she's dedicated herself to this game. But how well does she know a cue ball? Can she get a line? Can she get a gap? Oh, that's pretty good.
Not quite.
I thought she was actually going to get the half ball kiss there, which would have been perfect.
Yeah.
But actually, in just missing it, yeah, trouble.
And I mean, again, come back to the pace of the table, but I can't imagine she was ever trying to get up close to that red. If she comes up a foot, 2 foot short on that line, you have a shot of the cut into the corner. I mean, she nailed 2 of them against me in a row at last women's standard, and then she can't do it anymore.
She did, yeah, she did. I'm glad you brought that
We'll
up.
be having words. Now, it's a decent safety shot from Lauren, but I'd have been looking to manufacture a finish there, but where if you miss, you don't leave a shot on the red. And you'd have been on cobs telling me I was being too aggressive.
Now, you see, what I've really enjoyed over the recent weeks, and indeed months, because I know it's something you're working really hard on, is your social media content. I've found incredibly insightful. Because it's... You just see Mary try and make a pretty canny little loss of turn.
And this is my point here, is that you've come to the table now more awkward than where you were. Whereas if you'd have tried to take the finish on previously, where the red was on the bottom rail, you can play almost every shot in a way where you're not going to leave a shot at the red anyway. Whereas now, okay, Mary's not going to have a good chance when you come back to the table, but you're awkward.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think the way that you sort of see the game, and I've got that sort of sense just from watching your TikTok essentially, but I think it's really, really interesting, and I think it's quite a sort of unique way of viewing it as well at times, because I think a lot of the pool content, for right or for wrong, that we consume is often sort of at a very, very elite sort of pro level, whereas I think actually some of the stuff that you say makes a lot of sense to me as a complete rank amateur. But you know what I mean? It always feels more accessible, more sort of it principles that will always work.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter almost if you can make a mad shot or anything like that and cue a ball like a dream.
Yeah, that was a very good shot from Mary, and if there's a gap here,
I think it squeezed in off the yellow.
Yeah, it would on a Supreme. Whether it does on these slightly tighter corners, not sure. Haven't worked these out yet on these tables.
Oh, we're about to find out. Yeah,
Fluid,
straight in.
massive gap.
Very nice. But yeah, just coming back to that sort of that viewpoint, and I hope you don't think I sound almost disrespectful when I say that, but I think it's the way you did one in the week where it was about I can't remember who your practice partner was, but he took out a pattern after you'd missed an 8 ball, really. But he took it out in completely the right order.
Yeah.
And I watched that and I thought, I can really see exactly what you mean there. And that principle applies to literally every level of pool ever.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think, and I mentioned this in a video, is that one thing that really, really frustrates me when I watch women's pool is how much it gets overcomplicated, and how, in a lot of ways, how much of a lack of...
Yes, that was the one I saw,
basic knowledge that there kind of is in terms of really simple things. I learnt from being lucky, being friends, being practice partners, playing doubles with Clint. Do simple things really, really well, and you'd be amazed at how far it takes you.
And that, I think, is why, in time, that's why we talk about Mary's ceiling in this game being potentially really, really high, because all the sort of the stuff that a lot of people might find difficult, like the simple skill with the cue.
Yeah.
She's already got that. She's a fabulous cueist. I mean, in case you didn't know, she puts it on the back of the shirt just to show off. But
is that what that says? My
cueist,
eyes aren't great. I was trying to read that.
Yeah, cueist. She's trying to think of a nickname for herself, and she get the nickname of Snooks quite a lot, and she's like, I don't really like that too much. So she went with cueist.
Yeah.
Because people often talk about her cue action because it's a lovely one.
Yeah.
But yeah, you that's a really difficult thing to have. There's a lot of elite men's players who trade their cue action in for that quite easily. Yeah. But the puzzle and the game itself, that's the real skill of pool. There's a lot of players who can cue a ball in, but do they understand the game? essentially.
Yeah.
This is where having a good cue actually helps. This is tricky. Yeah, that felt
was tough
missable.
anyway, stretching.
That really did feel missable. So Mary's not having it all her own way so far. And if Lauren can just snick a frame or two away and keep herself in contention, you just never know in these short races.
Yeah, obviously I think it's taken Lauren a while to settle here. I think you said it was her first TV match, but she is a talented player. She's played county for quite a while now. She's got a bit of ability. I'm sure she got to a national final maybe in the other rules in Blackpool last year. So she is very talented. I think it's just taken her a little while to settle out there.
Which is very understandable, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
As Mary comes back to the table, but I don't think that miss is necessarily going to really harm Lauren too much, because where she's left Mary is pretty rank here.
Yeah, that's a good safety.
Yeah, and this is almost what you talked about. Put yourself in a position where if you come back to the table, you're really benefiting.
Yeah. I think it's important in these rules when you're playing a safety, sometimes you will kind of sacrifice guaranteeing the foul to make sure when you come back to the table you've got an open chance.
Yeah, Mary on cue doesn't foul. She's had a pretty good hit there in a result in terms of what she's left.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think I'm right thinking Lauren may only be able to see one ball here. I don't think she can squeeze the cue ball between the gap of the yellows down the left-hand side of the table. That's a great shot. Now these reds they all pick apart. Can she get the one closest to the pocket bottom left?
I don't think so. There might be another safety here. Yeah, not quite on it.
Yeah, that was a safety, but with a view to just leaving it hovering over the hole when she comes back.
Yeah, if Mary can play just short of the middle pocket of the side and kind of land almost on the top one, sure, she won't really leave anything, but any contact on any other ball I think will leave Lauren a shot. I think she can play the one over the bag cushion first.
Yeah, comfortably. I must admit, I do love the way that Mary thinks, because I think to that point, I think she thinks a little bit, maybe potentially there, a little bit maybe above the station, but she's thinking, well, there's nothing for just staying in the frame here. I want to make this yellow, and if I don't, I'm going to lose the frame anyway.
100%, and I think she does practice those.
Oh, you can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, might have used up all the luck in one go when she played you in the last woman standing, but you can tell that she's got a very good eye for that.
We'll say it's luck. Not sure it was. They are important in these rules. These rules make you where you have to hit a cushion out getting out of a snooker. You can't roll up to them anymore. So a lot of the time you may as well be trying to pot it.
Yeah, agreed. What Lauren would give for that first frame on the board. Because the longer it goes on, the harder it will be to secure. Oh, Mary.
A little bit surprised she didn't play the plant in the middle then, rather than play the long shot. But yeah, poor one.
Yeah, I mean, you can see exactly how and why she's done it, but...
I did tell you the table was reactive, didn't I?
Yeah, I don't think she can believe she's gone in off there.
No.
Because because there's no way she didn't sort of see that line, if you like. But
Yeah.
tiny bit surprised there to not see Lauren play the one that's above the cue ball now as her cue ball in handball. Because that felt like that, between that and the ball on the bottom cushion, that felt like the most difficult ones.
I might have looked at the one on the bottom rail and be looking to get on this straight last to leave as your connection to the 8. But it would certainly have been for me either this one you're talking about or the one on the bottom rail. But again, it comes back to first match not settled. You just, pressure gets you in
Sometimes
weird
you
ways.
just want to pot a nice one, just pot an easy one to get yourself going almost.
Yeah, pressure gets you in weird ways. It's not just about your arm going around corners and missing balls. It really blurs your mind in terms of how you don't see the game right. Yeah, I don't often watch my own games back, especially if I felt like I was under it during the game, because I'll just get annoyed because I've not seen the right thing to do.
Sure, you'll watch it going, what are you seeing?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
And I suppose, to the point of what we were talking about earlier with the 6 red shootouts, that's often how you'd feel post 6 red shootouts, because it was all such a blur.
Yeah.
And you watch it back and think, what are you doing?
Absolutely.
But it's so difficult to hone in and just actually concentrate during that time.
Yeah.
Because there's just so much panic involved.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I've done a couple now, so if like today where I was fortunate to be set not a terrible time, but enough time to know I've just got to pot 6 balls. That's why I think the evolution of the shootout in the women's game is still where we're at the point of going second. So that if someone does have a bit of a longer, you're not just trying to rush through it as much as possible.
I think it's safe to say, almost after every single ball Lauren's potted, she's had a little look at the cue balls to say, what are you doing there?
Yeah.
It ain't easy. That one, however, was just a tough shot. It wasn't where she wanted to be on it.
But she will very probably get another go because she's close enough.
Yeah, Mary's in a bit of a sticky situation here. I think she almost has to go for the combo, essentially. That's very clever. Love that. Don't think she's quite got it, because I think the red is still available to the centre it is. But I love the thought. It's a very clever shot.
I also think she knows, even if she doesn't get it, she's got an opponent that isn't fully settled. So she's going to say, I'm not going to leave you easy. You're going to have to pot a couple of awkward balls.
Come on then, Lauren. We're all rooting for you here. It's a strange way of being on the cushion. Just makes your mind up. This is just natural. Just roll it in. Give yourself a shot. Wouldn't have loved to have been on the cushion for the 8-ball mine, but this is very gettable.
Yeah, I think she'll get this.
And it will make a huge difference just to the mindset of Lauren Proctor. Oh no! Oh, you've got to feel for it. Lauren doesn't know where to look. Oh, it's so tough. That is a brutal one. Took out those 2 reds nicely enough. Had done enough to earn that result in the frame. And then wouldn't you know it, in off on the 8-ball and 3-0 down.
Tough start for Lauren, and this is a very tough group as well, because I think this is Sophie Gibbs, Nichols and Leanne Cragg in this group as well.
Goodness me.
So I think this is a bit of a brutal group.
What a draw. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Sophie Gibbs and Leanne Cragg we will see later on, around about 8:45, all being well. Well, it should be a cracking game.
Yeah.
But yeah, what a group, goodness me. I think when Lauren probably looked at that draw, I think she probably thought, all right, this is cheers.
Yeah.
Nice one. So I think for her, it's almost, and we said this about Steve Oxley a little bit earlier on when he took on John McAllister. Sometimes, even if the result's not going to go your way, you start to think, all right, well, what can I take from this? I can still take plenty.
Yeah.
And there's been lessons learned in this match, I'm sure.
Yeah.
There's also experience gained out in the arena, which is just
Yeah.
you can't replicate.
And I also had a similar conversation with Claire after our match, because Claire's going to be new to the pro this year.
Yeah.
She's said herself she's still getting used to the arena table. She's not played it many times, so this is kind of an ideal scenario in a group format early on. If you do lose this first match, you have a chance to recover tomorrow.
Yeah,
So
and it's also, as Mary plays a slack one there.
Yeah.
But it's also, you can't say this, but I can. It's also against you. It's sort of a bit of a free hit, really. She's got Mary's still on this one. She's been lucky. But you'd almost rather play.
She had to bend that a little bit. Played it well.
You'd almost rather play your hard match first. Especially if you're a bit nervous, get it out of the way. If you win, amazing. But if you lose, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
And yes, a similar scenario I think for Claire. And I said it a lot of times about a lot of the ladies over the past sort of couple of years, and we say it less and less now, which is obviously a good thing. But it still applies to a lot. The arena experience. You can't put a price on it, really.
No, it throws you out there. No matter how many times you do it, sometimes you're so aware of the shot clock. You're so aware of everything, really. If there's any sort of bumps in the carpet, you think you're going to trip over them. It's different.
This has been a lovely visit to the table from Mary Talbot, and this will ice the game if she gets this 8 ball. A couple of iffy frames from Mary, but she's played some good stuff as well. And she takes the victory over Lauren Proctor to go top of the group in the meantime.